Welcome back to Sew Denim Quilting. I'm Glenda Burton, and today we are going to continue on with our Quilt As You Go denim tile blocks. We've made our blocks, we've quilted our blocks, we've connected two together, all the ones that we can, and now we're going to connect two sets of two and two to make one of these, which is a set of 4. So follow along with me as I continue to build my quilt with my scrappy denim tile block. Okay, let's get started. First off, like we did before, we're gonna fold back our back layer, pin it back on both of them. So I'm just rolling it back and pinning it. I'm trying not to pin myself. And yes, I use lots of pins in here because I don't want to sew over it and have to use Jack the Ripper. He's like my best friend. Okay, last one. On this one. Okay, so we have this one done. We're going to do the same thing to this one. This is the top. And remember, we only sewed to a ½ an inch within, so that within the edge, because we want to be able to fold it back. Makes it much easier to sew with a ½ inch, at least for me. One or two more, I think. And then we will pin them together so we can get ready to sew them together. Alright, so now we have them, the back pinned back, so that when we join them, right sides together, that so we're going to join the right sides together so that we can sew them a ½ inch down the side. But I have to make sure that I have them going the right way. Turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. See, this one is this is the top and this is the bottom. So this is my top and this is my bottom. Top, bottom. Flip them right sides together. And then I'm going to try to the best of my ability to line up my seams. I'm going to use the polka, as Kimberly calls it, the polka pin method, where you poke the pin, and I'm going to start in the middle. So poke it into your seam, center of your seam, and then into the center of this seam so that they line up. And then you can join them together. And I'm going to work my way out. Ooh. I have to tack that before we get started. I will go back in when I'm at the sewing machine and fix that before I sew it together, because I can't quite catch that one in my seam. I'm gonna have to find me some more pens. I thought I had more. All right, we have the right sides together, we have a pin together, and I'll meet you back at the sewing machine. Welcome back to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew my 1/4 inch seam all along to join my two pieces together before we start hand sewing the back on. So here goes. This is just like we did before when we joined the two pieces together. We're just doing the same thing that we did there. We're going to join the two together. I'm just kind of guiding it, especially when you go over the seam where the denim is. It's very thick, so I'm just kind of guiding it. Again. Just checking to make sure they're still lined up. All right. I'll find my little and my ender so that I don't have to lose all my. All right, now I'm going to pull out all my needles and go get ready to start getting it ready to hand sew. I've taken all the needles out, so now that it's all flat. Now let's see. I want to see how well see how good my polka pin worked. Ooh, look at how nice those are. They're not perfect, but you know what? That's okay. You know, nobody's perfect. And then when I'm done, sewing the back together, then I'll come back and I'll connect each of these so that they're connected, and you won't know that I missed them. But it makes it easier to sew together if you leave a ½ inch to sew with. All right, so now I'm just going to make this lay down the best I can, whichever way it wants to lay. And some actually like to make these join perfectly. This batting is not that thick, so I don't mind laying it over to give a little bit of extra padding between the seams and the back. So basically I'm just going to lay these. You can, and sometimes I do, glue down the batting. I'm not worried about stitching it together because of the fact that it's going to get caught, you know, at least where by hand sewing it, I'm going to be sewing it together anyway. And two, when I sew it together, connect my cross hatches, it'll also make it so that it. Okay, so now I'm going to lay one down. And I kind of iron this a little bit just so it lays a little flatter. You don't have to, but I do because I can. And it does help when I'm sewing it. It lays flatter. I'm using a nice hot iron. I'm pressing it down. Okay. And for this part, basically I fold it over in half so that it's nice and even. Ironing it down makes it lay flat and not want to wiggle on me. It's a little tricky because it's kind of short. You've only got ½ inch to work with. This will help me when I come back to pin it down and keep it in place. And no, it's not lining up on the back, and I'm okay with that. If you want it to be a little bit less noticeable that you hand stitched it together and the back is not one seamless piece, something like that's more of a uniform print, like a solid, that would work better for that, but I'm okay. No, it's going to be on, it's not going to be the side that's face up, it's going to be the side that's face down. You're not really going to notice it. I'm going to do like I did last time, and I'm going to pin it down so that when it stays in place as I'm sewing it with my ladder stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will be back and start sewing it. All right, I've pinned it all down so that it doesn't go anywhere to keep it from sliding. And I'm just going to do a ladder stitch down like I did on my other, when I was the same ladder stitch, the same thing we did in the previous episode where we were sewing them together. I'm going to do that same thing. And I use light tension, but because I use such big lengths of string here, sometimes it gets a little, doesn't pull evenly because I double mine up, but I'm just basically going in on one side, and then on the other side I go in directly across, and I try to keep it directly across, and I try to keep my stitches fairly small, not too long, a quarter to a half an inch if I can. Not that I'm perfect, but that's okay. And I want to be, for me, to hide it even more, I try to stay as close to the edge or just under the edge so that it hides the stitches. Just make sure they're pulling evenly. Okay, and then I'm going to go in across from where it came up on the other side, but I'm going to go up across, right there's where it came out, and I'm going to put it back in, but I'm going to put it in my fold here, and then I'm just going to try to get it to pop out about a quarter to a half an inch. And I'm just going to make sure that I didn't create a knot. And as it, because like I said, this is kind of long, so it likes to keep it going through evenly. See, there's a little bit of a piece that hasn't gone through. Just got to figure out which one it is. Okay, there it goes. So now I'm in the fold, so now I'm going to go back directly across and kind of underneath of it if I can. See, so it's directly across, and I'm going to go underneath. Try to come out a quarter, half. I'm going to do that all the way down to the end. So you don't have to watch me. We'll speed this up and jump ahead when I'm done. Just back and forth, back and forth. This is hard to do for the camera. Okay, underneath. Where'd I go? Oh, back in here. Stop. Okay, I'm in this fold. Farther, when I'm not right up close, it's hard for me to tell whether I'm in the which one I did. Okay, well, I'm going to continue doing this, and then when I'm done, we'll come back and show you the finished product. All right, I have went ahead and sewed down the back using my ladder stitch all the way through. And you can see the stitches on top. It's all pretty. I know. It's a quilt. It's nice when it actually turns out pretty. So next, I'm going to go to my machine, and to finish this, I will go ahead and just connect these the best I can, where it shows where they're not connected, so that they look a little bit more seamless. I may have to connect. If they don't connect straight across, I may have to start and stop, all the way through and unpick some of my stitches, but that's okay. All the name are pretty. Like this one here, it kind of veers off to the left, see? So probably what I'll do for this one is I'll start back here, and then I'll connect it in here so it's a little bit more straight instead of trying to wonky it. But one connected to two, two connected to two, so we have four. And then the next time we will connect these two. We'll do the same thing as we did here, but we will connect these two, or these four, to these two. And we'll do it the same way that we did in step 1 and step 2. We will go ahead and fold back each seam. We'll go ahead and fold these back and pin them. And then we will pin them right sides together. Helps if they're going together. So then we'll pin them together and sew them. Sew the tops like we did before. And then we will come back in and we will connect the backs so that we have a row. That's what I will probably go ahead and come back and do this later. I still have to connect in between like I did these. But the next time I see you, we will connect the 4 and the 4 together to make our row. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And thank you to all of you who have subscribed and are following along with me as I make this lovely quilt making it with tile blocks. Catch you next time.